Picture this. It is a warm Sunday afternoon in New York City. The cameras are flashing, the crowd is pressed against the velvet ropes, and walking out of an exclusive restaurant looking like $1 million is Cardi B. But she is not alone. Standing right next to her, holding her hand, is NFL star Stefon Diggs. They are smiling, they are laughing, they are posing for the paparazzi like a couple with absolutely nothing to worry about. It was Mother's Day weekend 2026, but behind those perfect smiles and that designer clothing, a massive dark cloud of betrayal was hanging over their heads. Because just weeks before this picture perfect moment, explosive allegations had surfaced that Stefon Diggs had been having a secret affair, not with a model, not with a groupie, with his own personal chef. And the entire world was looking at Cardi B and asking the exact same question: why is she still there? To understand why this moment is hitting so differently, you have to understand the journey of Belcalis Marlenis Almanzar. We have all watched Cardi B's love life play out in real time for years. We watched her marry Offset. We watched the fairy tale turn into a nightmare of cheating scandals, hotel room brawls, and painful Instagram live sessions where she cried to millions of strangers about feeling disrespected. We watched her file for divorce, take him back, file again, and finally close that chapter for good. When she walked away from Offset for the last time, the public breathed a sigh of relief. It felt like Cardi had finally learned her worth. She was independent, she was richer than ever, she was done with the drama. And then Stefon Diggs entered the picture. When the rumors started in late 2025, people were cautiously optimistic. On paper, Stefan seemed like a real upgrade. He was not a rapper surrounded by groupies. He was a professional athlete with a clean cut image, known for his work ethic on the field rather than his chaos off of it. When Cardi confirmed the relationship around the Super Bowl, most of her fans were supportive. They wanted to see her happy. They wanted to see her with a man who actually valued what he had. For a few months, that is exactly what it looked like: courtside NBA games, cute videos together, a genuine power couple narrative that the internet was fully buying into. But here is where things get interesting. The first whisper of trouble came from a very unexpected source, not a stripper, not an Instagram model, a woman who was allegedly hired to cook their meals. The story started as a blind item on a hip hop gossip page in late April. A massive NFL player, currently dating one of the biggest female rappers in the world, had allegedly been caught in a compromising situation with his private chef. At first, nobody believed it. It sounded too absurd. Why would a man with access to any woman in the world risk his entire relationship over the person making his breakfast? But the rumors did not go away, they multiplied. Anonymous accounts started dropping supposed details. They claimed the chef had been traveling between Stefan's homes in Texas and New York for months. They claimed the boundaries got blurred during late night meal preparations. And then the most damaging allegation dropped. Sources claim that Cardi B had actually found out about this weeks before the public did, that it had caused a massive private blow up that nobody outside their inner circle witnessed. People started paying attention to the clues. Cardi had gone quiet on social media. She stopped posting him on her stories. She showed up to a major fashion event alone, and when reporters asked about Stefan, her smile looked incredibly forced. The pieces were fitting together, and the picture they were painting was ugly. And that is when everything changed. A popular internet personality with inside connections in both sports and entertainment finally put the names to the blind items. They went live and flat out said that Stefan Diggs and his private chef had been involved in an ongoing secret relationship. Not a one time mistake, ongoing. The streamer claimed there were text messages. There were witnesses who saw them acting like a couple when Cardi was not around. And the chef had been quietly removed from his employ only after Cardi discovered what was happening. The internet exploded. Twitter timelines were moving faster than anyone could read. TikTok creators were filming reaction videos within minutes. Stefan Diggs, the man who was supposed to be Cardi B's safe space, was allegedly cheating on her in her own home with an employee. The silence from both camps was deafening. In today's world of instant PR statements and carefully crafted captions, the fact that neither Cardi nor Stefan addressed the allegations for almost a week only made the fire burn hotter. People were analyzing every pixel of their past videos, looking at old stories where the chef's food was featured, trying to spot signs they had missed. The public split into two camps. One side screaming that Cardi needed to run, that history was repeating itself, that she had a pattern of choosing men who disrespected her. The other side saying we had no proof, that internet rumors are just internet rumors, and that we needed to let the woman live without projecting her past onto her present. But then the screenshot leaked. A highly detailed, unverified text message exchange allegedly between Stefan and the chef began circulating in private group chats before hitting the mainstream. Whether the messages were real or a cruel internet hoax, what was in them was damaging. Late night messages about missing each other, about feeling trapped, about wanting to be together publicly. The kind of emotional intimacy that goes way beyond an employer and an employee. The narrative was set. In the court of public opinion, Stefan Diggs was guilty. The pressure on Cardi was immense. Her fans were begging her to leave. Every hip hop news page was demanding she speak out. The whole world was waiting for the bomb to drop. What happened next caught everyone off guard. Instead of a diss track, instead of an Instagram live in tears, instead of a quiet breakup statement, Cardi B did the absolute last thing anyone expected. She invited Stefon Diggs to a highly publicized Mother's Day event in New York City. The paparazzi had been tipped off in advance. This was not a private meeting to work through their problems. This was a deliberate, calculated, fully visible public appearance. And when they walked out of that restaurant together looking completely unbothered, it felt like a statement. But the internet is not stupid. As the photos circulated, body language experts and obsessive fans started picking apart every frame. They pointed out that while Cardi was smiling, her eyes looked tired. They noticed Stefan's grip on her waist felt a little too tight, too possessive, like he was holding on so she would not float away. And then people zoomed in on their hands and noticed something small but significant. Cardi was not interlocking her fingers with his. She was letting him hold her, but she was not holding him back. Subtle. But in the world of celebrity gossip, subtle details are everything. The conversation quickly shifted. From Cardi took him back to Cardi is plotting to Cardi is trapped in a cycle she cannot break. And that last conversation is the one that really stings. Because for years, Cardi B has been a symbol of walking away. Her music, her interviews, her whole public persona has been built around the idea that she would not let any man diminish her. When she finally left Offset for good, women everywhere felt like they had won something too. So when she stands next to Stefan Diggs under a cloud this dark, it does not just feel like her personal choice. It feels like it means something bigger. Her comment sections are no longer just praising her outfits, they are filled with paragraphs of disappointment. Women saying they feel let down, saying that if Cardi B, with all her money and power and independence, cannot bring herself to leave a man who allegedly cheated on her with the help, what hope does the average woman have? That is a heavy question, and it deserves a real answer. Because here is the truth. We do not know exactly what happened between Stefan and his chef. We were not in the house. We have not seen undeniable proof. But the optics are horrific. The timeline makes sense. And the sudden silence from a woman who has never been quiet a day in her life makes the most sense of all. The Mother's Day appearance was not a declaration of love, it was a ceasefire. And everyone knows a ceasefire is not the same as the war being over. There is also a layer to this that nobody is talking about. Stephon Diggs has a reputation in the NFL for being difficult. He wants the ball, he creates locker room tension, he demands control of his environment. Now put that man in a relationship with a woman who is arguably more famous, more powerful, and wealthier than he is. The ego clash is inevitable. Some psychologists suggest that when men in that position feel overshadowed by their partner's success, they seek out situations where they can feel dominant again. An employee represents exactly that. She works for him. She depends on him. It is a twisted dynamic, but it is incredibly common in the world of the ultra wealthy. If this theory holds any weight, then the affair was not just about attraction, it was about control. And where does that leave them now? Sources close to Stefan say he is furious about the leaks and aggressively trying to find out who has been feeding information to the blogs. Sources close to Cardi say she is re-evaluating everything and that the Mother's Day appearance was essentially a public favor to help clean up his image before the football season. But favors like that come with a price. You do not bounce back from allegations this specific without permanent damage to the foundation. The trust is cracked. Once the world has seen those messages, once everyone has made their jokes about the chef, every time Cardi looks at that man, she is going to see the headlines. And every time he is on the road for a game, the doubt is going to creep in. We all wanted Cardi to win this chapter. We wanted her to find the peace that eluded her for so long. but love is complicated. It is messy, it is deeply irrational, it does not care about public perception, it does not care about what makes sense on paper. Sometimes the strongest women fall for the weakest apologies. Sometimes the desire to have something whole outweighs the desire to protect your own peace. Cardi B standing next to Stefon Diggs on Mother's Day was not a victory lap, it was survival. And the real question is not whether the public will forgive him. The public always moves on eventually. The real question is whether Cardi B will ever be able to forgive him in the quiet moments. The ones where the cameras are off, the team is gone, the house is still, and it is just her and the truth she already knows. That is the question nobody can answer for her. And that is the part of this story that is going to keep people watching.